One of the worst things about evil is that evil is not easy to spot. Evil is not easy to spot. You can do something that is totally evil and not realize that what you've done is evil until it's too late. You might realize years after that what you've done was actually evil. If you were a bully when you were a kid, at the time you just thought that it was fun to make fun of other kids. You were enjoying yourself. You didn't even think for a moment that what you were doing was evil. Not even for a moment. You were just having fun. But as you got older and understood the damage that you may have caused, you're like, dang, I regret the way that I treated that kid. I regret ever saying ever saying that to that person. I love when, a lot of people think that they would have been on the right side of history. Be thinking, hey, how did people allow such evil to exist? How? And they start to think that, we are evolving as humanity, because now we're able to see that what people in the past used to do was evil. You take for granted the fact that you are a human with needs. You need to fit in. You need to be accepted. You need to be heard. You need to be understood. You have needs. You need to be loved. If society rewards you with love, with care, resources, for being evil or for turning a blind eye to evil, you will not even notice evil. Listen, you're not even going to intentionally try to not see evil. You just won't see it. You are being paid to not see it, so you won't see it. This reminds me of this meme that I saw. So there's a guy who's sitting in a sofa like this. It's a very expensive sofa. His room, you can tell that he's making money. And then on the caption they wrote, when you get a taste of luxury and finally start to understand corruption. That made me laugh. A lot of people think they would have been on the right side of history. But are they on the right side now? People think they would have been on the right side of history. They don't realize that it's much easier to spot evil when evil does not benefit you. So if someone is doing something that is evil, but it doesn't benefit you, it's much easier to spot it. Like, that is evil. But if someone is doing something that is evil, but that directly benefits you, you might not even spot evil. In fact, if there's a person who's trying to fight evil, you're going to look at that person as an enemy. Evil exists. Don't let people lie to you. What I would say is that morality is subjective. The universe didn't give us instructions on how to live. That is true. And life is not treating us the same way. Some people, it gives them everything. Some people, it gives them nothing. Like, I want you to think about lions and hyenas. Hyenas are not very good hunters, right? They're not. But lions are. Hyenas steal from lions. Would you say hyenas are evil? I just want to show you that morality is actually subjective because life is not treating us the same way, right? Hyenas are not given what lions are given. They don't have the kind of privilege that lions have. They can't run that fast. They're not physically strong. They're not very good hunters. So they steal. Would you say the lions are right for hunting? Would you say they're wrong? Morality is subjective. But evil exists. It might not be easy to spot it if evil is benefiting you. So if a lion is doing something that is evil, but by doing what is evil, it's continuing to survive, it's not going to be looking at it as if it's something that is evil. But if something evil was being done to it, it will be able to see that, oh, this is evil. You see? It will be able to see that this is evil. Put a lion in a cage, don't give it food for a week. It will be able to see that this is evil. But if it attacked an animal and didn't kill it, it just injured it and it was just going to eat it at any time, it wouldn't be able to see that that is evil. That is why it's easier for people to see that it's evil for someone maybe to be wrongfully convicted, right? Sympathize with these people. But if you go into the wild and take animals from their natural habitat, put them in cages, you don't see that as evil, do you? You may even pay money to go to a zoo and see these animals that are in captivity and even laugh. You know, when you see a monkey, you know what I'm saying, like experiencing psychosis, you laugh. You don't even have compassion for it. You don't even feel like this animal might be suffering. Like, you know, these animals need trees, you know, they need to move around. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes them happy. That's what they were doing in the past, you know, that's how they evolved, you know. So them being in cages, no animal wants to be in a cage, right? But because you are a human and you are benefiting from that experience, remember when I told you that it's not it to spot evil when you're benefiting from it. So you're benefiting from the experience. So you don't think that that is evil, right? You cheat on someone. You say when you cheat in a relationship, you know how it feels like? Can I explain how it feels like? Especially as a guy, you just feel like, damn, I got game, bro. I got game, you know what I'm saying? That's how it feels like. You never even think about your girlfriend. You don't even feel guilty. But if she does the same, yeah, she's evil. How could you betray me like that? People who rob other people, you might think that they really feel like what they're doing is evil. Not really. Not really. Survival. That's how they look at it. There's a reason why some people who rob other people, if those people fight back, they don't even mind killing them. You know, people kill other people when they feel like the other person is wrong. Like you could convince yourself that what you're doing is right. You're like, listen, I'm a thief, and you're standing in my way because it's survival, right? So that's how they feel. So they feel like you're standing in their way when you fight back, when you try to protect yourself. They don't look at it the way that a normal human would look at it, like, damn, that is evil, bro. Like what I'm doing is evil, and I must understand that this person might try to fight back at any time. I mustn't go that far. It's not easy to spot evil, especially if you're benefiting from it. That is why a lot of rich people who are very corrupt and who may think that they are pushing society backwards, but what they're actually doing is keeping society stuck. They don't see that what they're doing is wrong. You get what I'm saying? Rich people who don't pay taxes, rich people who don't give it back to their communities, who only think about themselves, buying and you might say, no, actually it's good. It's good if I'm rich and I'm buying luxurious things and I'm just focusing on myself and all of that. But what you must realize is that we are all part of this. I remember I gave you this example. I said, when I was in grade 12, that's when they started giving us apples, like fruits, right? Almost every day they'll give us fruits. There were people who were feared in my classroom, the people who were feared. So they'll count, like, okay, in that classroom there's 70 people. So we must give them 70 apples. But what will happen is that the ones who are feared, the bullies, the ones who know how to get more, they will get more and no one will say anything. But the real truth is that everyone deserves an apple. So it's the same with being rich. Everyone deserves something. So if I have it all, I might think that, oh, it's because of my hard work, it's because of this and that. Not really. I'm just privileged. Maybe I know how to get more. Maybe I'm willing to get more, like to do what it takes to get more. But the real truth is that there's enough for everyone. So I might think that being rich is actually a good thing. To have more than everyone else is actually a good thing. And it seems that way. But if you're poor, it won't really seem that way. I remember this other day, I was having a conversation with this guy. His family is rich, like his brothers have money. His father, he had money, So the guy doesn't have money. He didn't manage to do anything like, anything that will actually, like, he didn't manage to do much in life. Let me put it that way. So he when he was sitting with me, he was complaining that, you know what, I have family that has money, but no one helps me, no one looks out for me. A few weeks later, I heard one of his brothers talking about him. His brother was saying, yeah, he didn't try to do anything with his life, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So you could see that they have different perspectives. Like if the brother was in the shoes of the younger brother and the younger brother was in the shoes of the older brother, they wouldn't see things the way that they see things now. The younger brother would just feel like, hey, the older brother should have tried to do something. You are trying to survive as a human. So if Survival means that you must not see evil, you won't even see it. You focus more on what is necessary for your survival. That's how selfish you are as a human. That is why a lot of people are not able to see how evil this realm is. That is why a lot of people are not able to see how evil this realm really is. How often do people do evil things without even noticing? One of the biggest reasons why relationships don't work these days is because when the other person does something that is wrong, it's very easy to notice because it doesn't benefit us, right? But when we do something that is wrong, it's not easy to notice. So you find that there's a miscommunication, right? If I'm hurt and I talk about what hurt me, the other person doesn't see what hurt me. Like I shouldn't be hurt by what have hurt me. But when when I do something that hurt them, I also don't see that what I did hurt them, even if they're trying to explain. Most of the time, and this is something that I've realized, most of the time, people apologize if there is something to gain from apologizing. I used to have a friend like that when I was growing up, and I was amazed at how he was unable to even see that in himself. Right? He was this kind of guy who, he'll do something that you don't like, and then you'll be like, you know what, I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore. I'm not going to be friends with this guy anymore. But when he needed something from you, the first thing he'll do is apologize. Okay, he apologizing, cool. And then he tells you what he needs. It was always like that. He was so, like, his manipulative tactics was so damn obvious that sometimes it just make you laugh. You're like, what the hell? Like, bro, you haven't apologized in 6 months, but now because you want something from me, you're apologizing. Like, that is weird. People apologize if there is something to benefit from apologizing. Not really because they say that what they've done is wrong. So even in relationships like that, a person can do something that is wrong in a relationship and apologize, not really because they understand that what they've done is wrong, but because they want to still be with you and they know the only way they can be with you is by apologizing. So people apologize because they know that it works. It's about survival. So that is why it's very difficult for people to see how evil this realm really is. A lot of people are benefiting from the evil nature of this experience that we're having as a collective. Directly or indirectly. A lot of people like to blame people who are reaching the world, but they're supporting them. They like to blame those who are reaching the world, but they are indirectly supporting them, or sometimes they're directly supporting them. A lot of people who think they're good and who think that other people are bad, if they were in the shoes of these people, they will do the same things that these people will be doing. This reminds me of this joke from Chris Rock. He was talking about some guy that cheated. I forgot who it was. It was a very famous person who cheated on his wife. And he was talking about the people who were criticizing him. He's like, there's these people, these people who are unattractive were criticizing him because a lot of young women were throwing themselves at this guy, blah blah blah. But they would have done the same thing. It's not easy for men to turn down sex. Period. Like, you look at the person and be like, oh, you're evil, but it's not like you have women that are throwing themselves at you, right? You know, if you've never had an opportunity to steal, like a real opportunity to steal, if you've never had a real opportunity to steal, you might end up thinking that you are not a thief because you've never had a real opportunity to steal. You've never really been tempted. So you think, hey, I'm a good person. And when people steal, you look at them and be like, they are evil people. How can they do such thing? Not realizing that, no, actually, uh, these people were like they were in a situation where they were being tempted. They have never been in that situation. The world is more evil than we would like to admit. We live in a really, really evil world. I remember there's this video that I watched a few months back. So it's a video. You know, there's this lady lives in a village somewhere in Africa. She lives in a village. She looks different, right? She looks different. So kids bully her. I know kids are mean. I told you that kids are mean. When she was growing up, she got bullied a lot, so she didn't get to have friends. And the world never stops bullying her. So she isolates herself. And no one truly feels sorry for her. Right? You think people would care if they've seen how much you suffer. But it's kind of like they kind of feel like she deserves to suffer. And they don't see that their behavior is exposing them. Do you get what I'm saying? So she isolates herself. So there's this guy who makes content. So, he told her story. And I was like, damn, man. People think evil is just like you maybe stealing, right? It's you maybe hitting someone. It's you cursing at someone, stuff like that. No. Actually, evil is being done every day without people even noticing. We are mean to one another. We judge one another. Do you know that even when it comes to something as simple as dating, let's say you date someone who's out of your league. Do you know that the friends of that person will not like you and they will talk bad about you and they will you have not done anything wrong. Maybe that person actually likes you and you make that person happy. But now they are, because we are evil, and it makes me laugh. Like, I don't know, we feel that that person doesn't deserve to be loved by someone like you. Do you get what I'm saying? And because of that, we become evil to that person without even realizing it. We don't even see that we're being evil. Like, no, you don't deserve this person. But why don't they deserve? Because maybe they don't look like they don't look that attractive, and because of that alone, they don't really deserve that person, or they don't have a lot of money, or they don't have status. Do you get what I'm saying? We do evil things all the time without even realizing, even ignoring people. You may think that is not evil. Like, for example, let's just say you're an extremely attractive woman and some guy wants a chance to talk to you. Like, hey, hi. And you listen, I'm not saying you should talk to, you know what? The problem is this. The world itself makes it harder to be good. Like, to be a good person, like, it takes a lot, but being evil is easy. I can just ignore someone who wants to talk to me because of how they look, because of how they dress. I just ignore them without even considering their feelings, how that made. And you might say, that's not evil, that's just me choosing myself and all. No, it is evil. It is evil. And let me tell you why it's evil, right? We live in a world where we need each other by default, right? When you bring a child into this realm, that child will automatically need others. Automatically. So if I'm saying you don't deserve to be responded to be paid attention to, and I show you that by my own actions, I'm hurting you. I might not feel like I am. I might just feel like it's your responsibility to deal with your emotions, and it is. It is. You must try your best to deal with your emotions, because in the end, you will be the one who suffer more than that person that might have ignored you. You know. But it's still evil. Not giving someone a lift. You might think, it's my car. I bought it. Listen, the real truth is the world that we live in is evil. And listen, I'm not even talking about the worst evils, like the evils that are obvious. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about, people getting kidnapped and being, if you've never experienced some things like maybe getting raped, you've never experienced it, you'll never even understand how it really is and how it really feels like. When you hear a person who's experienced that, you just think maybe they're just, like they don't want to let things go, or they are focusing a lot on the past, but you don't know how it damaged them. These are the kind of things that exist in our society. And nature itself is evil, because it makes people commit evil. Like I told you, that really to fight against evil is to fight against your own nature. Right? It's to be like, you know what, man? Sometimes I want to do harmful things, but I'm not going to do these things. Sometimes I want to, but I'm not going to do these things because I can see that these things are evil. It's not even about moral or immoral. Like I told you, that morality is subjective, but evil isn't. You can do something that is evil, and if it's well explained to people that what has been done is actually evil, and they are not benefiting from that evil, they'll be able to see that it's actually evil. Like I told you, that it's about whether you're benefiting or not benefiting. It's much easier to spot evil if you're not benefiting from it. But if evil is working in your favor, it's not easy to spot it. That is why when you kill a chicken and eat it, you don't view that as evil. But if there were beings that are killing humans and eating them, you would think that there is evil. Right? If there were vampires that were only able to survive by eating humans, or by not even eat, I don't think vampires eat humans, maybe they suck our blood or whatever, you think they're evil. You call them demons. That is why when we talk about archons that harvesting our souls for energy, you think they're evil. Like automatically you look at them as this evil being. But what if that's the only way for them to survive? Right? So what they do is they make you miserable so that you can produce the energy that they want. The same way, I remember I spoke to you about 5-MeO DMT, right? That there are frogs that produce 5-MeO DMT. So to make them produce 5-MeO DMT, what a human has to do is to put them in a stressful situation. So that's when they kind of like release, 5-MeO DMT. So from the perspective of the frog, the human is evil. But from the perspective of the human just wants to reach high level of consciousness by having psychedelic experience. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to spot evil if evil doesn't benefit you. But when it does, it's not easy to spot it. Do you see how evil we are? We are actually focusing on surviving. That's what matters to us. It's surviving. It's having this human experience that we want to have, and being successful at it. It's about what really works, right? A lot of people are not conscious enough to see beyond survival, right? A lot of people are not conscious enough to see beyond survival. That is why, if a person has money, even if they're a bad person, we're probably gonna treat them better than a person who's actually good, who doesn't do evil things, and that we don't even have any doubt in our minds that even if this person was, having money like this person, they would be better. We'll treat the rich person better. We'll treat the attractive person better because it's about survival. So we overlook everything. It's like, oh, yeah, we could be attractive in doing bad things, but we overlook all of that. Why? Because, I remember I gave you this example. I said, listen, man, this is true. If someone, even if Beyonce wasn't famous, right? But if a woman that looks like Beyonce approached you in the street and asked for help, she's dressed like Beyonce, looking very nice, whether you're a male or female, she's like, look, I don't have transport money. It's only 20 rand. She will, like, if you just approach different people like randomly, she'll be able to make more money than the person who actually needs it. If a lady who's homeless, not wearing any shoes, probably hasn't eaten the whole day, approached you, hey, can you give me 10 rand? I need to buy bread. Don't even look at her twice. It's about survival. The reason why you help Beyonce, listen, you are programmed to treat people better that you want in your, like, that you're attracted to, or that you know what I'm saying, or that you think that you would want something from, even if you're not gonna even get it. It's about survival. It's not even about being kind, being a good person. I've seen this like happen a lot. Like, you find that maybe there's this street kid that's very, beautiful, right? You see that this kid lives in the street, but the kid is beautiful. There'll be people who want to help that kid. Whether the kid is good or bad, they don't even care. They'll overlook everything. Like, I want to help this kid. I want to adopt this kid. Simply because the kid is beautiful. But if the kid is ugly, no one cares. The kid could be asking for help 24/7. No one cares. It's life. It's about survival. People are trying to survive. They don't really care about a lot of things that you care about. So that's how evil this realm is. The problem is that we turn a blind eye to evil if it doesn't benefit us to spot evil. Even the most obvious evils. Some people will be like, I would have been on the right side of slavery. Heh. Would you have been? If you live in a family where there was money and you could buy a person, any person that you want, and it was socially acceptable. Listen, your neighbors do the same thing, your friends do the same thing, everyone who is like you is doing the same thing, right? Don't you think, like, if your father gave you money, like, you can buy any person to be your slave, this person will do whatever you want them to do? Don't you think you buy a slave? Why do you think a lot of people were buying slaves? You will easily turn a blind eye to that kind of evil. The same way you turn a blind eye to, animals that are being mistreated in our society. These animals are not so different from us. Maybe they cannot talk, yes. Maybe They play by different rules, yes, but we know they bleed. We know they have brains. You know they can feel emotions. We know they can suffer. They can feel pain. If you hit a dog, if you hit a bear, if you hit a deer, it's gonna feel pain. If you take its baby, it's gonna feel pain. Do you get what I'm saying? It has its needs, it has its wants, but you don't care at all. Not only do you not care, if you see someone who is a vegan, for an example, fighting for animal rights, you think they're crazy. You automatically think they're crazy. So thinking that you would have been on the right side of history is delusion. You wouldn't have been on the right side of history. People are evil if evil does not have consequences and if it directly benefits them. They don't really mind being evil, and they will turn a blind eye to the evil that they come. You know, people tend to apologize when evil gives birth to negative consequences. That's when people apologize. That's when people think back. You know, when a person is in jail, they're told what they did, and now they're suffering because of what they did. That's when they sit down and actually think about everything that they've done, you know? In relationships, if you're dating a person, you're mistreating them, you might not really see like what you're doing is wrong until they leave you. Until they leave you and they're never coming back, and you still need them, and you sit down and you think about them, and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have treated this person that way. You know, I should have been this way and that. You know what I'm saying? That's when you think. People are only able to see that something is evil if it doesn't benefit them. So if someone does something that is evil to you and you don't allow it to benefit them, it's much easier for them to see that what they were trying to do is evil. This reminds me of a scene from The Simpsons. So in this episode, Homer Simpson, he lost his job. Kind of lost everything, right? Maybe not everything, because he still had his family. So he used to drink a lot, but he ended up not having money anymore to even afford alcohol. So he woke up in the middle of the night and he broke his son's piggy bank. When he broke his son's piggy bank, he's looking for money for alcohol. So he counted the money and it was not enough. And then he said to himself, like, but this is wrong. Like, why should I do something like this? Is wrong. This is wrong. You know why it felt like it was wrong? It felt like it was wrong because there wasn't enough money. But then he was like, no, maybe there is enough money. Then he counted it again and he was like, oh, there's not enough money. And then he continued to say how wrong it was. I thought that was funny. But that's it. It's like if you try to do something that is evil and you don't succeed, you'll probably feel like it's wrong. But if you succeeded and you benefited from that evil, you will turn a blind eye to that evil. And that is why there's so much evil in this realm. Isn't it obvious that it's a hell realm? Isn't it obvious that suffering is not a bug, suffering is a future? And there's a reason why people who are operating at a very high level of consciousness are not being given real platforms to actually talk and wake people up. There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. You know, the matrix is trying to protect itself. So there has to be, the real truth will be underground, right? So what will be what will be known everywhere, what will be mainstream, isn't really the real truth. It's just manipulation. It's something that is sold as truth, but that isn't actually the truth. You see? So people don't ever have real conversations about how evil this place is, about how bad things are, you know? And it's really important to have these conversations, really important, more important than a lot of people realize. More important than a lot of people actually realize. Because if we are doing a lot of things that are evil and we're not even talking about these things, it means that it's never going to stop. It means that we are never going to become better. We're not going to be able to operate at a high level of consciousness that is actually necessary for us to set ourselves free from evil. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't think people really understand what my channel is about. Now, sometimes people think that my channel is about talking about the negative things that are happening in the world and focusing on the negative things that are happening in the world and being defeated, basically. They don't realize what I'm really trying to do here. I want people to operate from a place of truth and find a way to function, right? I don't want people to function because they're delusional, right? This reminds me of an episode of South Park. It's actually my favorite episode of South Park. If you want to watch South Park is my second favorite TV show of all time, bro. Like, my favorite TV show of all time is Atlanta. So South Park is my second. There was a time when it was my favorite TV show. Now they're not really killing it. I don't like season. I think what season are they on? Maybe season 26 or something like that. I don't really like that season. I even laughed, actually. Oh, maybe I've laughed once when Catman was doing a podcast, or the last episode. When Clyde was doing a podcast and Catman was like, "You're stealing my ideas," and he said something like, "I don't know anything about stealing ideas, but what I do know about," because he was trying to advertise some product, and that kind of made me laugh. But no, South Park used to be funny, bro. So there's this episode called "The Best Breast Cancer Show Ever," like something like that. Like, it's the funniest. Like, it's really, really funny, bro. Catman was making fun of this other girl, and she decided that she was going to fight him. Catman knows he doesn't know how to fight, so he thought she was bluffing. But when he realized that she really wanted to fight him, he started to apologize and try to come up with different ways to apologize, manipulate her, and all of that didn't work. So they ended up fighting in the end, and she beat him. After she beat him, he started crying, and he said to his friends that, now you're not going to think that I'm the cool kid because I got beat by a girl, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, we never thought you were the cool kid. Like, we don't, like, our perspective of you can't possibly go any lower. Like, we've already thought the worst of you. So Cadman he said to himself, he said to them, he was like, actually, you guys do think I'm cool. The reason why you think I'm cool, you wouldn't be saying all the things that you're saying if you didn't think that I'm cool. So it means that I am cool. And then he started to celebrate because he thought that he still think he's cool. You know what I'm saying? So some people are not strong. They're just delusional. So I want your guys to be strong. I want your guys to embrace the truth. Be like, okay, this is really what we're dealing with as sentient beings. But how do I find ways to be strong? How do I find ways to survive? I've told you guys about detachment. Like, you gotta know the truth and learn to detach yourself. Why? So that even if there are other realms where you can find yourself conscious and be manipulated and not know anything, you will be strong. You won't be easy to manipulate. But if you're delusional, you're going to be manipulated in every realm. You see, if there's a chance that we actually escape the reincarnation trap, it's through knowledge. That's it. There's no other way. And you must know the truth. And sometimes the truth isn't what you're going to like. Sometimes the truth is going to be very negative. What I focus on is the truth. Before I even decided I'm going to record a video, I think of what is true that I'm going to say. It even got to a point where even if I don't decide when I'm going to make a video, because sometimes I just decided, let me record a video. I can go out without even knowing what I'm going to talk about and press record and start talking. And then, 5 minutes in, I'm able to now know which direction I'm going to take. But you find that everything that is coming out is something that is true. Do you get what I'm saying? It's something that is like, it's coming from an authentic place. So it's not about being negative. It's not about making people give up. It's not about making people depressed. It's not about making people sad. It's about waking people up. But as they wake up, they need to let go of the beliefs that are holding them back from truth. Do you get what I'm saying? And sometimes that is very painful. I told you all guys that if you believe the lie your whole life and that lie was what kept you going, the truth is going to crush you. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're in a relationship with the person, that person doesn't love you, maybe they just want something from you, but you convince yourself that they love you, the truth is going to hurt you. But if you knew all along that they didn't really like you, they didn't really care about you, you knew exactly what they wanted the whole time, the truth isn't going to hurt you. You already know the truth. You didn't tell yourself lies first. You didn't tell yourself lies first. Do you understand? If someone came to you and told you that you won $50 million and you believe that and they said you're going to get it next month, when it's time for you to get the money and they say, you don't win $50 million, that's going to crash you. But now you know you don't have $50 million, it doesn't make you feel any type of way. I mean, kind of does, but because you don't want to be broke, but not the way that it will make you feel if you felt that you had it. Do you get what I'm saying? The truth only hurts because of the lies that we've been telling ourselves. So that's why some people be like, oh, this is the most depressing channel on YouTube. No, it's not. You've just been telling yourself lies the whole time. If you've been telling yourself the truth the whole time, this truth is going to heal you. You know how it's going to heal you? It's going to make you feel like you're not the only person who feels this way. So you look at someone like Benedict and you're like, this guy is actually articulating my thoughts. He's actually saying the things that I've been thinking that I thought were normal to think, but it's so comfortable saying these things. And I resonate with how he's saying these things and what he's saying. So I like this guy's channel. I'm subscribing, I'm commenting, I'm liking the videos, I'm sharing the videos. You know what I'm saying? Maybe other people might not really be able to understand me if I express myself, but if it's a stranger with 12,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe they will be willing to listen to this guy, because they don't know him. Maybe they will just want to listen to a stranger. Maybe one day they'll be bored and be like, let me listen, and they'll be like, wait, it actually does make sense. It's like a villain that actually makes sense. But yeah, it's not about being negative. It's not about making you feel bad. It's not about making you feel depressed. It's about the truth. If the truth is wicked, then what I'm saying is not going to make you feel comfortable, especially if you've been telling yourself lies, but it still doesn't mean that it's not the truth. So it's about your awakening. It's about you becoming slow. If you've already awakened and you're resonating with what I'm saying, then it's about being strong, being able to handle the truth and knowing what you need to do with it. Like, what do you do with the truth? Because maybe back then you used to doubt yourself. You used to think that there's something wrong with you. That is why you think differently. But now you're like, no, man, this guy is explaining what I was thinking very well. So it must be true. But what do you do with the truth? That's what we focus more on, basically. So it's not even about how evil the world is. It's about what we can do, Because someone might watch this video and be like, so what am I going to do with the fact that people are evil? I mean, they're evil and all of that. What do I do? A lot can be done, But first, you must be fully aware of how evil this place is. And, as this channel grows, I'm also going to be... You're going to also see the evolution, right? It will get to a point and I want the people who have been watching my videos from the start to continue to watch my videos, because it will get to a point where I'm leaning more towards solutions than telling you the truth about the world, right? What are the solutions? That's why I make videos actually telling y'all about solutions. It'll get to a point where I'm leaning more towards the solutions that I feel like will work. Because what can we do at the end of the day? It's about finding solutions. It's about making our soul strong. It's about making our soul strong. It's not just about acknowledging that the place is evil. It's also about what actions we can take to make our experiences better, because that's what we want, but also to set ourselves free, because that is really important. You don't want to be stuck in this evil realm forever without any hope of escaping, without any hope of reaching high levels of consciousness, without any hope of um, freeing yourself from some of your attachments that are making you more miserable in this realm. You see? So that is what it's really about. And I think some people do understand it, but some people don't. So that's why I felt the need to, explain, so that people don't misconstrue when I'm trying to like say on this channel, you know. Awareness is important. I feel like that's what has been lacking in society, like real awareness. The problem is that nature itself is evil. The universe is indifferent. It is put us in a game where to get what you want, to get what you desire, you naturally have to be evil. Meaning that there will be a lot of things that you turn a blind eye to get what you want. There will be a lot of things that you turn a blind eye to get what you want. To become rich, there will be a lot of things that you will have to do that even like if you had to think back, you'd be like, damn, I wouldn't want these things to be done to me. But because you were given an opportunity to become rich or to sell your soul, I would say selling your soul is in you deciding that you're gonna join the Illuminati or you're gonna make a deal with the devil. I would say it's going against your soul's intention, right? It's giving your physical body power, right? It's feeding your body what it desires, because whatever your body desires, to get it you have to kind of like go against your own soul. If you haven't realized that, you'll see that that's actually true. To kind of feed what your body desires, you actually have to go against your own soul. So that's it. That is selling your soul. That is giving up on your soul, neglecting your soul. Basically, it's selling your soul. And because, like, to be a human, I think it's automatically be a sinner. I don't agree with what's written in the Bible, but yeah, that I'll kind of agree, but not in a way that Christians look at it, like, oh, you're a sinner, now you have to ask for forgiveness and all of that. But I will say it's about you being like, okay, yeah, as a human, I'm programmed to be evil here. What can I do to, at least have some control, at least find some balance? Because maybe I still have to be doing some things, but how do I find balance? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I make sure that I'm not as evil as possible and I'm as good as possible? You know what I'm saying? I'm as kind as possible. I'm as loving as possible. I'm as considerate as possible. Because you can never not be evil as a conscious being. It's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? If I see also roaches here, what will I do? They want food. That's how they survive. Are they evil for hunting food? The thing is, as a conscious being in this realm, whether you are a human, a goat, a lion, a tiger, a chicken, a worm, whatever you are, because to survive, we must do things that are actually evil. Even if we might consider that to be necessary evil, it is still evil, right? It's like I gave you this simple example that because I talk a lot about archons, I talk a lot about demons, I talk a lot about beings that are feeding off our negative energy. So if I'm right that there are beings that are feeding off negative energy and they are controlling our reality to make sure that we feel these negative emotions, and when we feel these negative emotions, they're able to gain power. We view that as evil because it is. But some of them will turn a blind eye to that. Or maybe most of them. Maybe some of them are trying to be like vegans are, right? But like, you know what, man, I'm not gonna participate in all of that. Like, these beings want to have beautiful experiences. These beings don't want to keep on experiencing breakups, divorce, poverty, uh, all of that, all the stuff that bringing them pain, wars and all of that, famine, or like they don't want that. So I'm not gonna participate in that. I'm not gonna manipulate them and make them do evil things to one another. No. Some of them might be conscious enough to, step back and be like, I'm not gonna participate in that. But most of them don't give a shit. Just like you don't give a shit. You don't care about eating that chicken. You see the chicken and it's so powerless, and it shows you what you might be dealing with. Because if a chicken is that powerless, like it can't really free. I mean, it can't free itself. Especially if it's the chickens that we have at home, it can just run away, bro. Like just run. Like if I was a chicken in a village, you know what I'll do? I'll not come back home. So I'll not stay in the same place for too long, in the same yard for too long, until the people there be like, oh, this is our chicken, right? So they'll be like, oh, it's our neighbor's chicken. They don't know which chicken it is. So I'll just be there and eat for like a week and then leave, go to another place, eat for like a week, but never go back to where I was. That's how I'll survive. But what sucks is the situation that sucks is, the situation where chickens are made to be weak. Most of the chickens that we eat are weak. They can't even fly. They can't even move that fast, bro. We call them maboboila in my language, because they're chickens that can run fast. Like, we used to chase them. Like, you would chase them for a very long time. They're fast and they can fly. They can fly, not like that far, but they can actually fly. Jump over the fence, go to the neighbor's yard, and if they were really smart, they would just keep on going and never stopping, flying yard to yard. We'll never catch them. But the chickens that would just, like, if you put them in one place and give them food, they'll just eat the food, and they can't really run away because they can't fly and they're not that fast. So it sucks for them. So you see how powerless they are. So I would say, even as humans, we kind of like, we do have some power, and we must try to make sure that we don't become that powerless. Right? We mustn't be as powerless as those chickens that I'm telling you about. Because I think there's always a chance to free yourself. Even for those chickens, there is a chance. But maybe it's much harder for them. Right? Maybe it's much harder for them. So it's up to us not to judge the beings that be eating our ADG and all of that. It's to kind of like try our best to not give them. Try our best to starve them. Because it's our responsibility to free ourselves. It's not their responsibility to set us free because they're benefiting. Remember what I told you about evil? If evil is benefiting you, you don't see that it's evil. So if someone is doing something that is evil to me, or that I feel is evil, maybe the best thing that I can do is to not reward them for being evil. Is to not act like, it's not to allow them to continue to be evil towards me. I must be like, I don't like that, and I'm not going to allow you to continue to be evil towards me, because I'm the one who's allowing it. Like, if you allow a person to take advantage of you, they'll never stop, bro. And it'll get to a point where they feel entitled. If a person takes advantage of you, it does get to a point where they actually feel entitled, like they must treat you that way. It really does get to that point. So we must understand that evil is unforgiving. Sometimes we must punish evil. Sometimes we must expose evil. Sometimes we must starve evil. But don't reward evil. Right? That's why you mustn't let people take advantage of you. If someone is doing something that you can tell is evil, don't allow them to continue. Put them, make them see that what they've done is responsible. Hold them accountable. And if they don't understand that what they've done is evil, then don't mess with them anymore. Thank you guys for watching this video until the end. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep on supporting the channel. Let's keep on growing. Thank you guys.